Hey, how are you all doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Today we're gonna talk about investing, okay? I kind of chose this one because I do have quite a bit of time to talk about a topic, and I thought that investing would be good because in today's video we died. I died. I tried to like ransack this pillager mansion, but yeah, it was kind of difficult. But oh well, we live and learn. Just like in investing. Investing, it's a huge uphill, downhill slope. It's dreadful. Sometimes you get wins, sometimes you lose. You won't know when you're gonna win. You won't know when you're gonna lose. It's really uncertain. But it's really important to invest. I'm not gonna tell you what you should do with your money and what you aren't recommended to do with your money. I want to make a big disclosure that I am no investor professional, okay? So I'm not gonna grab your portfolio and I'm gonna triple it in like months, like I'm Jordan Belfort, okay? It's just, in my opinion, I think it's good to invest. It's quite a big deal, in my opinion. So let me tell you why. The first reason why you should invest. Because the main reason why people don't invest is because they'd rather save their money in their bank account and let it accumulate, you know? However, most people don't know that when you leave your money in your bank account, you don't actually save it. You don't. In reality, you're losing money. After every year, you're going to experience this phenomenon called inflation. Everyone heard of it, but most people don't really understand what it is. Inflation basically means that it's going to continuously increase in price over a period amount of time. Inflation is healthy, don't get it twisted. Just because prices increase, it's not always a bad thing. Prices which you see today is going to be more expensive than tomorrow, and that is a fact. And that is a reality of the world we live in. This is the best of the evils, you know? There isn't really a better way to go on with life than having this capitalistic environment. And there will be inflation, there will be times where prices will rise, but that's normal. And that's why investing counteracts that price. It gives you the opportunity for your money to stay the same value. On average, inflation increases every year by 2%. And that is a really healthy inflation rise. Sometimes it may grow to 5%. And that is really bad, actually, like really bad. So your value of your money is dropping 2% each and every year, just leaving them in the bank, you know? That's why you invest. Because when you invest, you're putting your money into a fund or a certain entity that makes that money more valuable. The value of your money is increasing. For example, if I were to invest in a company and that company were to improve, the money I spent on the stock price, it's being more valuable. So when I sell it, if I sell it, it'll be able to grow. And my money is keeping its value, maybe even making a return. Because at the end of the day, this is risky business, and no one's gonna do risky business for no return, respectfully. Let me tell you my strategy when it comes to investing. Because I think about this quite regularly. I don't want to be a day trader. That's not something that's in the cards for me. It's too much stress. You make quick money, you make a lot of money, but you don't get it. But it is really uncertain of how the money will come in. There are more stories of people failing than actually succeeding. On Instagram Reels, you're gonna see all these people with their boats and their sports cars, but that's because they're the lucky ones, and they know that they're the lucky ones. And the way that they're making money now to save that amount is by selling courses. And obviously, you guys know the whole course thing is that it's kind of false. You know, they're just doing it for a quick money grab. So don't believe in day trading courses because it's just false. You know, just invest in what you want to invest. Develop a strategy. Do your own research, and you'll be fine. Let me tell you my strategy when it comes to investing. I don't want to look at my portfolio and get worried and thinking of when I should sell, when I should buy. That's too much effort, and it just increases my stress. a lot. Like, I mean a lot. That's what we call an active portfolio. As you guys know, I'm a banking student, so I kind of know this stuff. You have to sell in a second and buy in another second. That's what we call active portfolio. What I like to do is called a passive portfolio. It's where I put it in a fund, and that fund invests into many, many companies. So if one company is doing bad and the other 400 is doing good, then there's a net win. Now, if that's the case, then why don't everyone invest in this? It's because it's not always plain and simple. At the end of the day, these are companies all regarding a certain type. It's not just 500 random companies and they all work together. No. Most often than not, it's either an industry or it could also just be biggest companies of their country. For example, you all know of the S&P 500. What the S&P 500 is just 500 companies in America which do the best. And on average, most companies do the best. So that's why you invest in those companies, because low risks and there's low returns. You see? If you want to get more money, then you have to take a risk. That's why day trading is so profitable when you actually win, because people are willing to take high risks to make high rewards, but those high risks may be really detrimental to your lifestyle. And that's not what I want. What I want is that my money is being kept up with inflation, and my money, I get a little bit on the side. A little bit, I mean what? Like an extra €5 at the end of the year, an extra €50 at the end of the year. So what? That's how I see it. So I invest in these things called index funds. And my strategy is that I try to avoid investing in an industry, okay? Don't take my word for it, but you know the dot-com bubble. There's this thing called the dot-com bubble where technology was advancing and it was like the next big thing that like people with telecommunication is gonna be huge. It soared up in price and then it's just plummeted. It like dropped significantly. It's still one of the biggest companies in the world, but still it plummeted from such a high rise. So I avoid industries because industries have the opportunity of their bubbles being breached. So what do? I invest in companies that are the biggest in their country. And there's this thing called diversifying. Diversifying is when your stuff that you invest in is really vast. So when you invest, there is a high chance that what you're losing in one is offset by a gain in another. So that's what we mean by diversifying in your portfolio. For example, if I were to invest in hospitality, that has no correlation to, healthcare. Nothing. So here's the thing. I die here, okay? In this game, I die. For some reason, there were so many Vexes from so many Evokers. I didn't know that was even possible. I just thought that, I'm just gonna go in, get some kills. I'm gonna find one Evoker and kill it. But for some reason, when you hit one Evoker, it just like pisses off all the other Evokers that are like in the same vicinity. So then I have like a total of 20 Vexes with swords running after me. It was so bad. I burned 2 notch apples, 2 totems, and I was so pissed, bro. So pissed. But I do actually end up winning because I just get on my bird and I just pick off Evokers that are like outside. I pick up their totem, run away, then do it again for like 3 times. So I have like 3 totems at the end of this. So is it a win? I lost 2 notch apples, but I gained 3 totems after burning 2. I guess. I don't know. But I wanted to like come back with a win back home, So back on topic. So my strategy is by diversifying income in like countries which have like big companies. For example, Canada, one of their biggest industries is gold. So investing in that one specific gold company is quite risky because if that company were to do under, it would just completely lose so much more money than investing in so many other gold mining companies which are all under the same index, That's one strategy of mine. I also invest in the S&P 500. You see the difference? The S&P 500 are the top 500 American companies. I'm investing in something that is irrelated to the S&P 500. So let's say a country were to go to war with America. Why would the Canadian stock drop when the problem is in America? You see, the rise and losses of both indexes are being offset by the other decisions, And I invest in like 4 of these indexes, and I'm gonna keep on investing in them for a really long time. When you invest, you're gonna see money gaining, money dropping, and that's normal. At the end of the day, index funds are there for long-term investments. Don't see that you're losing 20 euro and say, oh, I need to sell because I want to lose even more than that 20 euro. You gotta keep in mind that index funds are there for the next 20 something years. You're not gonna instantly gain 100 euro each year. That's unrealistic, respectfully. Each year you maybe get 10%, maybe get 15% return. So out of the amount you're investing, you're just getting a little portion. That's how I see index investments. Of course, other people would rather invest in companies, but that is quite dangerous concerning the, way of living we are right now with all the wars. But if that's the case, then we're never gonna invest ever, If you're just gonna continue hiding after the fact that, oh, it's gonna get worse, there's gonna be wars, prices are gonna increase, then does that mean you're never gonna invest your money into nothing? You gotta start somewhere. I'd rather put my money in something and lose it and learn from my mistakes than not investing at all. That's how I reason things out. Now, if someone listens to me and just puts in 10 million on black, I'm so sorry, but that's not my advice. It is just all to me, in my personal opinion, because everyone else has their own strategy. I'm just telling you what I think of the situation. And if you agree with me, alright. If you don't, that's fine too. Because everyone thinks and invests in their own way. I have friends who invest in tech companies. I have friends who invest in gold companies. I have friends who invest in the actual mineral than the companies who mine such minerals. There's so many levels to this. And there are many, many ways to make money and a lot more that make you lose them. So that's why I invest in strategies that may not gain that much money in the process, but are quite safe enough for me to gain a little bit on the side. Yeah. Investing is stressful, but at the end of the day, if you want to make money, you gotta risk some money. But you can choose of what you want to invest in, and that falls entirely on you. If you invest in crypto and you think that it's gonna completely skyrocket in value's price, then I'm sorry. But you have to take the risk in regarding to it. Don't get mad at the system for trying to stay like increasing, because everyone wants the thing to increase, but it's out of people's detriment. You can't make it increase. You have to analyze so much geopolitical events. You gotta analyze the way of living. Like, if you're going to invest in something like boats, and you're knowing that they're making so much more different types of boats now that are more effective and they fall under tech, then I'm sorry, but obviously it's gonna decrease in value. You just gotta think about it. You gotta spend a lot of time thinking, because I think I have around 2 grand invested. That is a lot of money for an 18-year-old, So you gotta think a lot about this stuff. And I am lucky enough to be in a course where one of my majors is dedicated to investing, so I may know more than the average person. But I was planning on investing for a really long time, and nothing is stopping you from doing your own research to be able to invest as well. Now, people just tell you to invest, 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 but they don't really tell you how to invest. It's now really simple. Back in the day, you'd have to call up a bank and tell them to invest your money using them, So they would put it themselves in the stock market. That is ideal because those stocks are under your name, but it's really unflexible. So if something bad were to happen, you wouldn't be able to sell. You have to go through a phone call and then sell. So I invest through Revolut because it's easy. There isn't that many indexes, so that is the biggest downside of Revolut, but it's so easy to just buy, sell, view your stocks, view how it's going. Everyone has their own strategy, but that's how I do it because I'm still a beginner. I've only been investing for like 6 months, so I might not even be the best person to give you such advice, but I want to just say that take some risks. If the risks you're taking, you can get a little bit out of, as in you learn from it, then just go for it. Like, no one's gonna hold your hands throughout life, man. You gotta get it from yourself. You gotta find it within you to take the risks. And if you're gonna succeed or lose, then it's just what has to be, and you're gonna learn from it. Pretty much it for investing. Time to talk about running. So this week, I did a 10K on the treadmill because, bro, right now in Malta it's so humid that it's impossible to run outside. Like, literally, I'm trying to get my like actual runs in. So now I'm just trying to do like a 5K on the treadmill with sprint intervals. So like 1 kilometer going hard, like 2 minutes resting, 1 kilometer hard, yada 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 for 5 kilometers. And then on Saturday, I think, I just did a 10K on the treadmill. But the thing that doesn't make sense is that, like, on my watch, it tells me that I do 18 kilometers. My body's, like, experiencing as if I were doing 18 kilometers. But on the actual treadmill, it just says that I'm just doing 10, you know? Like, the treadmill's, like, definitely more accurate because keep in mind, it has, like, this meter calculators, like, as if you were running on a track. But yeah, running has been going well, but as of recording right now, I have injured my foot. So in Malta, it's quite a big thing to take part in football games. Like, it would be like a cheeky five-a-side, and yeah, so I played because, you know, it's fun, spend some time with friends, stay outdoors, you know, but I kind of like had a guy step on me and just injured my foot completely. Like, low-key, these past 2 days has been like quite dreadful, but oh well, the game is the game. So now I'm just waiting for it to recover, and then I'll go back to training more profusely and focus on more long distance outdoor runs, because now the heat wave has finally been calming down. So now, after it heals, like right now, I'm going to be in Malta for a week, so the game's the game. So I will actually start training properly as soon as I get back. It'll give enough time for me to recover, which is low-key the perfect time for me to even get injured because I have a whole week of relaxing. So a win is a win, you know? I'm just gonna focus on recovery, stretching, and doing the most that I can at the moment. But yeah. So that's pretty much it for the video. Right here, what I'm doing is just I'm putting chickens into this hopper place where I just get automatic eggs, because in Prominence I just love using the cooking mod, and I just make egg fried rice, and it just actually like gives you so much saturation. It's crazy, and it's like really cheap to make. So that's like a good recommendation. But that's pretty much it. Hope you all enjoyed and love life. Bye bye.